The one calculation that's not talked a lot about on these bigger projects is the burn rate, and how much money the project is eating until it's profitable. And the where problems are happening is when people are using borrowed money to service that burn rate.
Yeah.
And by bringing in equity partners, we have real cash in that's coming out of our profits, but we're not borrowing additional debt to service that burn rate. And it has to do with what's called, risk adjusted return.
Yeah.
I can get a higher return by borrowing that money for the burn rate because I own 100% of the deal.
Yeah.
But by doing that, we're not taking any risk adjustment into the factor. And by taking equity partners, my return drops, but my risk adjusted return is so much more comfortable and in line with what I'm trying to do.
I love it. I think this is a great conversation for 2024 because, everybody in the industry that I meet, I would say not everybody, but a good majority of the people that I've been meeting these days, they're like, well, everything kind of slowed down and the things are dried up and there's no deal flow. And I'm like, well, no, we're kind of back to the way things were back in 2019. And then they were like, well, I wasn't an agent back in 2019.
Right. Yeah, right.
And so what happened is like everybody magically became a real estate professional in 2020, right? Ultimately, people are just not aware of, market cycles and how things are. And you can make money in any cycle, but ultimately you got to be careful, right? And if you're going to be borrowing money, you have to understand you're going to have to pay that back, right? And what's the plan? What are the exits? What's your exit strategies? And I'm a big believer in having like 10 different exit strategies, because you know what? It's a big responsibility to borrow money, and people don't see it that way because they don't have skin in the game. But when you have skin in the game, you're like, well, I don't want to lose my money.
Yep.
And everybody talks about OPM, right? OPM has been huge. There's been books written about it. OPM, it's on every infomercial or Facebook ad or whatever. Come to my event. You're going to learn about OPM, but people don't talk about LOPM, losing other people's money. And that's important.
In terms of OPM and other people's money, going back to my financial advising days and then coming into a mortgage agent, managing people's money, I've raised a significant amount of capital for both businesses, and I have a substantial amount of money that I manage for people, probably a lot more than people understand. And the reason why I've been able to raise that money is because it's not a gimmick to me. OPM isn't a gimmick.
Yeah.
OPM is a responsibility, and it's not other people's money. It's Alfonso's home equity that he worked his butt off for. Yeah. And he's trusted me to put it into his deal. Yeah. It's Helene's retirement account that she worked at her other business for years to create. It's your daughter's registered education plan.
Yeah.
You've been scraping and clawing for this for years, and that's the money. So people borrow this money and like, oh yeah, I got it from an RSP, 100% LTV, and they're posting about it. How do you think it makes the lender feel when they see that and seeing that you're treating it as a gimmick and as a game? And I think that's a massive shift, that if people start treating OPM like what it is, how important it is, the LPM becomes easy.
Yeah.
I can't lose this.
Yeah.
I can't. I will do everything I can. And you're going to actually raise way more money.